I was really contemplating on whether I was going to give my opinion on it. But this Cam Newton and Natalie interview, let's talk about it. Come on, come on, come on. And I just want to start this out with, I'm sorry, I'm not praising neither one of y'all. Y'all did not do, neither one of them did a good interview. It wasn't good. I did not learn nothing new. I did not take nothing away. Like, the interview was so pointless. It was pointless. And I don't see what the praise is. Oh, good job, Natalie. Oh, good job, Natalie. Like, no, y'all both actually did terrible in my opinion. It was not a good interview. So the start of the interview, Newton asked her, what is a baddie? And she says it's a boss symbol, you know. He asked what's the biggest misconception with baddies. She said that all they do is fight. You know, everyone fights, even the mascot. Even you with the mascot. That's what she said. Something about him fighting a mascot. Like, y'all don't see how she kind of started that? Whatever. Like, she talks about the whole situation with Lyrica and, you know, basically says, oh, it's about respect. Like, I don't care what you say about me. It's the fact that, you know, she, you know, talked about her family and all of that. She says that Lyrica is washed up and she should bring her on baddies just to beat her up and then leave. Which, who are you, Natalie? Like, I am genuinely confused on who you are, man. The only thing I'll say, as much as I thought she was petty and everything, he was just as petty. That's why I said it was just a terrible interview. I'm not gonna congratulate anybody on, oh, he was petty to you, so good job, you out-pettied him. I'm not gonna do that. We're grown. As y'all actually both more grown than I am, so that was a waste of time. But I get it, because he asked her what makes it your show, and she says, because I created it, and I get it. He was like, oh, really? You don't say? Oh. She's like, yeah, $1 billion empire. And he's like, $1 billion? Really? So I get it. He was just as condescending. I get it. But she was too. Like, that's why I say I'm not praising either one of them. Y'all both just terrible interview. Going back to the Lyrica situation, Natalie also points out that, oh, I didn't fight Lyrica in the restaurant because I'm a rich. So then why'd you pull up in the first place? I am so confused on why you pulled up in the first place, because you pull up at somebody, walking in on them, but you don't expect to fight. Natalie does talk a little bit about her home life and everything, but again, it was such a terrible interview. I don't really feel like she talked about anything. Nothing that added value to her, nothing that made it to where you felt like you got to know her. Now I'm just like, you didn't clear up anything and at all. He does ask, when they start talking about home life, he asks her if she's ever cheated on Jacob, and she says that she knows she's never cheated. And Newton does say something along the lines of, oh, well, like, that wasn't clear. Okay, I get it. Again, like I said, I see where both people were just being petty the whole time. It was just a battle of who can out petty and out manipulate the other person. It was just terrible. On a side note, all of you guys praising her for using her sociology degree, not saying she doesn't have a sociology degree, but like the art of talking and manipulation, and now that's psychology, not sociology, but whatever. I do think, though, the moment where she was honest and, like, let it be known, like, hey, I'm feeling judged, I feel like you're being snooty and everything, and he didn't really, like, try to change that as him being the person of the podcast, as him really being the facilitator, it kind of was more like, dang, like, you got to change your approach, because you see she's just feeding off of whatever she's feeling judged and everything, so she's just going off of that energy. So you kind of got to change your energy. I can see where he would be more responsible in that. She does mention a football story that he says didn't happen, but we're just gonna skip right past that. She does ask him, what do you think baddies is? And he says, I think it's like women empowerment, building confidence. And she's like, good answer. You need to be answered. Like, I just feel like you could have really talked up the baddies, because you do know, you've seen the internet, you know how people feel about the baddies in general. You know some of the bad connotations with it, and You could have did a little bit more to like clear that up, in my opinion. She says, what are you trying, or Newton asks her, what are you trying to teach women, like, or like, you know, what are you trying to teach your daughter? She says it's okay to be the breadwinner and everything. She also says that going into her background, that she has a Puerto Rican mom from the Bronx and a black dad from Alabama. Can somebody fact check that? Because if y'all know anything, if y'all really bad girl like fans, you know Natalie and Sarah from BGC had an issue, and the whole thing was Sarah was like, your mom is Karen. You're from the suburbs. Again, there's nothing wrong if she's from the suburbs. I just want to know, like, are you from the suburbs with a mom named Karen, or do you have a black mom from the Bronx? I just want to know, because why do your BGC sisters say that you have a white mom named Karen? She also like brought up how like she Dolly and Summer, and how ghetto and basically like they didn't have nothing, and how she came in and basically saved their lives and just did all this stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't mind giving you your flowers, but for you to go on a podcast and just talk about, yeah, this girl was so ghetto, and I went to her birthday, she was eating in chitlins and all that other shit, and I really changed her life, I'm making her money. I don't like that. I'm sorry, Natalie. Not a good look. At least not for me. If I was one of your bad girls, like, girl, leave me out of it. Like, don't tell people that. Like, don't do something nice for me or try to change my situation and then, like, talk about it in a podcast and try to downplay it. I don't like that. Newton says that, you know, people think you talk to the girls crazy. And she goes, no, that's Jocelyn. You just wanted to bring up Jocelyn. So now we didn't talk about Lyrica, then she talks about Jocelyn. You just wanted to talk about the drama. She also brings up, did you win the Super Bowl? If this was just a petty contest, like I said, it would have been cool. But I don't think that's the purpose of an interview, so the interview was pointless. But girl, when she was tired, he kept hitting her with the, so she hit him with the, what happened at the Super Bowl? Then she goes on and then she really plays into it. Like, well, how did it feel to be number 2? Because I don't know what number 2 feels like. How does that feel? How did you get all the way to the Super Bowl and fumble? Get a clip. Like, just petty. Just all petty. After all of that, he really asked why is it advantageous for a man to take serious a baddie? And, you know, she didn't really have any real answer for that, outside of they're just popular and they're it girls. She eventually gets to it after being guided so long. Oh, they're good moms. They're giving. They're smart. I wish somebody, whenever a man is like, why would it be advantageous to do that? Why would it be advantageous to be with somebody who will multiply whatever you... Baby, you give me a house, I will make it a home. What? Like, as women, we multiply. She could have, did so much better with that answer. That's all I'm gonna say. Side note, she does also mention at some point in this video that Summer None Other is bigger than Summer Walker. Girl, please stop. Stop. That was the alcohol. That was definitely the alcohol. And that was pretty much it. Like I said, the whole interview, just throw it away. Throw it away.